Hey, this is Steve with Tri State Overland. Last weekend, we went to Kentucky, ran the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway, and we had a lot of fun, took some damage, did a lot of new trails, and had a great time. So be sure to like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Want a Twizzler?
So some of the trails that we did were Spas Creek, which is a pretty, well, it was a basic entry-level trail, except over the years it's kind of got rutted out. It's still a lot of fun for an easier trail. What you see us doing here is we did Mountain Springs Road, which when you go down there and do that, it's best described as kind of a hills have eyes type of entrance. You go to the end of the road and it looks like you're going to drive into some guy's driveway, and it's not. It's absolutely county road. It's a trail. He's not allowed to block it anymore. Long story short, just keep on going on, and it's going to feel wrong and weird, but I promise you it's the way to the trail. It was really goofy. When you get past that, Mountain Springs is absolutely worth it. It's quite a hard trail, a lot of technical stuff, and we actually took some damage on this trail. A couple of us did, so we had a lot of fun. A few of the other trails that we did, I mentioned Spas Creek. That's kind of a trail that everybody hits because it's easier to do. It's a good way to get your feet wet, so to speak. When you get down to the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway, we ran Manatee County Park Trail, Clifton Road, Amos Ridge Road, but that's mostly just a gravel cut-through road, nothing too big there. We also did Old Fincastle, which was a bucket list trail for me and for a lot of us, actually. You'll see that later in the video. It's pretty crazy down there. As you can see here, there's some pretty good drop-ins on some of the trails. A lot of good spots to flex out, a lot of good spots to get stuck, and we just had a great time. This is Cody in his old Land Cruiser, right-hand drive, turbo diesel. The thing is a tank. It doesn't stop for anything. It was pretty wild. We've got Chuck in his Wrangler on 37-inch tires, which, again, that goes through anything. It's pretty much a tank as well, just a lot newer than the Land Cruiser.
Let's go!
There's Dominic making a splash. This is Mountain Springs Road again. Just kind of likes to go through all the puddles and everything. It's a really good trail. Driving through some of these trees was pretty tough. It's a really tight clearance here. I actually almost hit the tree on the right as I was coming around. I missed that tree and managed to get around it, but only by an inch or two. This drop-in was nasty. This is where I blew my taillight out. I came down a little too quick on the left side, and as you'll see in a second here, when I stop, I actually get out of the truck and take a look because somebody came over the radio and said, "Hey, is that piece supposed to be hanging off your truck?" And, well, no, it wasn't, but the bumper hit and it pushed it right up into the taillight, broke the tabs off, and popped the light right out. So a little bit of duct tape, which you should always have with you, got the job done, got her home. As you can see, it's pretty challenging. Even on the Jeep here, 37-inch tires, it was still having a little bit of time getting up these hills, and we all did. We all slid around. We all had traction issues. It was a lot of fun. It definitely is a lot harder, I think, wheeling out here than it was in Moab. Moab has a lot of challenging things, big rocks, all that, but that slick rock is like driving on sandpaper, where out here you're in the mud, you're in the water, you're in the weather, you have everything against you, and it's so much harder to maintain traction, which I like. It actually adds a lot of fun to these trails, and a lot of it's a new aspect, a new challenging aspect for wheeling, right? It's nothing you're going to see out west, so it makes it more fun. This is Troy, and he runs NA Overland. I will share that with you guys. Here I was playing with the camera. I've not really used this camera a whole lot, so I apologize for the bad angle. I was trying to hold the camera out and give you an idea of how rocky this part of the trail was. The problem is you're in the ravine, you're right there in the rut, you're next to the side of the hill. You can't really stick the camera out. This was a fun drop in here. As you can see, it's really muddy, but it was a lot of fun. That's Dominic in his 2020 Tacoma, and you can see the right rear bumper falling off there. We'll show that in just a minute. Again, Cody in the Land Cruiser just walking right through everything. This thing is actually a really cool vehicle when you see it in person. It's definitely different. He took a little damage too, just a fender flare, no big deal. There's our Wrangler on 37s again. Some of the mud gets pretty deep. Now Dominic's on 35-inch tires, and he's getting pulled out here because he got a little too deep. And look at that. It's just it's just packed with mud. There's mud everywhere, and it's deep, thick, heavy mud. He wasn't getting out without a pull. So there's his bumper. That's what he busted when he came down same place I did, although he hit the right side instead of the left side. And his is a little more broken, but that's okay. We do it because it's fun. We know we're potentially going to break some stuff. No big deal. This is Denny's big F-150 on 37s. This thing did really well that weekend. This is a fun part of the trail where you can take a hard line and drop in on this waterfall, and that's about probably a 28 to 30 inch drop, even though it doesn't look that bad. These Broncos are stock, but they're on 35s. And man, these new Broncos are impressive. Every time I go out with Dave and a few other Bronco people, they're just tanks. They're great for a brand new vehicle. Ford actually did a really good job on the Bronco. It's very impressive. These things just crawl over anything that gets in their way. Very cool car. Here's Dan in his second gen Tacoma. He's going down the Waterfall too. It's harder for the longer wheelbases because you don't have that departure angle and approach angle. You don't have the breakover that the little tiny cars do, the Jeeps and the Broncos with the shorter bases, but it's still doable. He has a steel bumper, and thank God for that, because if he didn't, he would have ripped the factory bumper right off this thing. He hit pretty hard coming down here, but he still made it, and made it fairly unscathed, and had a blast doing it. There's our spotter, Troy. He did an amazing job. Made sure everyone got over that wanted to anyways, and it was just awesome. Up next is the old Land Cruiser. Just walks right down, no problems at all. A little bit of a different angle from another cameraman. This is Chuck. and he's in his Jeep on, again, 37s. Look at that flex. Those things are just disgusting what they can do. It's almost not even fair. But anyway, 37s, walks right down, and Troy right here, he goes, yeah, that's what happens when you have 37-inch tires. You don't even hit. It was pretty funny. And next, Troy's wife is taking his Rubicon down. Same thing. Troy was getting everybody in position to kind of show off the flex when that back wheel drops and that left front picks up. He made everybody stop to get the picture right there. But yeah, they had a lot of fun. They all did this with very little problems. And anytime we see a mud puddle, little river, things like that, we love to make a splash, especially the Tacoma boys. Dominic went first, I went second, and then everybody else kind of followed. It was a fairly decent puddle, probably about 2 foot deep. Here's another shot with the camera outside the driver's window, just driving through a little bit of the creek, coming up on the left, catching up with everybody else on the trail here. It is so pretty down in Kentucky. It's one of my favorite places to go. Being from Ohio, we really don't have a lot to explore. We don't have any decent enough trails up here, so we have to travel and go anywhere and everywhere. So the two Broncos are up by me. They're from Cleveland as well. You can do so many different water crossings down in Kentucky. It's absolutely a beautiful place to be. And it's a lot of fun. Some waterfalls to climb, a lot of technical stuff on some of the other trails. When we get to Fincastle, I'll point out the rock. That rock is got every bit of 3 foot tall. It's a rock that reminds me of something in Moab. It's equivalent to the first obstacle, the waterfall on Poison Spider. Actually, it's pretty damn big. And yes, out here, we have V-notches. V-notches are actually a lot of fun. I like them because they're risky. You can make one wrong move and flop your vehicle, which thankfully nobody did. A couple weeks prior, there was a 4Runner that flopped pretty hard. This is Elliot's brand new Bronco. This thing had 2,000 miles on it. And, you know, he's got the package with 35s as well. He was saying he was a bucking Bronco there as he was trying to get it to rock, as that left rear wheel came about 2.5-3 feet up in the air. It was pretty wild. He also didn't have any disconnects or anything, so bone stock, and I think just it did. Again, Broncos do great. I gotta give them credit. And then we've got the Land Cruiser Crawler, no problem for him. And everyone else just kind of walked right down the V-notch. This was on the way to Fincastle. There's a pretty good river crossing here. It's not very deep, at least this time of year it wasn't. It can be deeper, but it was only about maybe 16 to 18 inches deep. It wasn't really that bad at all. But it was still kind of fun to get a decent view of everybody doing the river crossing. Gave us a lot of opportunities for good pictures and some nice video. And it was a nice little undercarriage wash for what was about to come. Okay, here it is. This is Old Fincastle. This is one of the hardest things that you can do down in Kentucky on the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway. We're all just kind of lined up, getting prepared, getting ready, taking a walk on this trail because you're about to see. So these rocks, that rock you see there was about the size of a I don't know, a few basketballs. I mean, these aren't small rocks, these are boulders. And it's just insane. So this is the rock. This rock is about 3.5 feet tall. Another group, I don't know, previous weeks, they stacked all these rocks up to try and make it easier, but this thing was massive. This is the rock that I was saying resembled, or it was reminiscent of Moab. It was every bit as big as the waterfall climb, that first obstacle there on Poison Spider. It was huge. Definitely underestimated it. Just to get over this was a challenge. I mean, almost everybody turtled. We all high-centered pretty much. Anything with less than a 35-inch tire struggled or got stuck and needed pulled off, and even those with the bigger tires had a little bit of an issue. The short wheelbase cars, the Wranglers, the Broncos, they walked right over it, and Dominic's Tacoma made it over after trying for quite a while to get over. But man, this rock is huge. There's no other words to describe it. It's just massive. And after this, the rock garden climb, it's rocks the size of large pumpkins, watermelons, smart cars, in essence. It's huge. You have like a 3 to 4 minute rocky, bumpy, snap your spine climb up this steep hill to get to the top of Fincastle, and it's beautiful. It really, you got to have a little bit of skill to climb this thing, and if you're not locked, it's even harder, but it's definitely doable because a lot of us weren't locked. And man, it beats the hell out of you, but it's worth it. It's worth every second. So watch the short wheelbases crawl right over, and you'll watch the rest of us get high-centered, and then we are all done with Fincastle. This obstacle for, what did we have? 13 vehicles, 12 vehicles, whatever it was. We were on this obstacle getting up this part of the hill for probably 3 to 4 hours solid. So if you have a large group, be prepared. You're going to need some time, and go out and have some fun. Like I said, these Broncos, I'm just so impressed with these things. There's Dave, just going on 3 wheels, popping right over, no problem at all. And what a color. That's the best color, I think, on any of the new vehicles. Well, after Fincastle, we decided that it was pretty much it for the weekend. Some of us went back, some of us went and did Fixer Leeco, which was a pretty easy trail, but we went back to camp. We base camped at Callie's Campground, which they're the best. Callie's an awesome host. They make great food. It's a beautiful campground. They take good care of it, great shower houses. It's just an awesome environment. So everyone just kind of set up camp in Jones Field, and it was just such a blast. We had everyone there. We just kind of sprawled out. We had some fun. We relaxed. And there's nothing better than sitting around a campfire after a nice day on the trails and just hanging out. It was great. Saturday night, we did our potluck. We wanted to try and just get everyone together and have some awesome food. And we ended up doing a 10-pound pork loin over the campfire along with all the sides. And I got to tell you, it was amazing. There's really nothing better than getting together with your friends and people in the group and just eating good food, having good times, and just hanging out.
Let's go.
Thanks for watching, guys.